We're coming back to Saigyo poetry with part 2 from the Andrew Meyer University of Pennsylvania. We always repeat the one poem. This one's cherry blossoms again. Why do I, who broke so completely with this world, find in my body still the pulsing of a heart once dyed in blossoms' hues? Detached observer of blossoms finds himself in time intimate with them. So when they separate from the branch, it is he who falls deeply into grief. Well, somebody has to observe the blossoms.
You don't have to say anything, just read the poetry.
Just read.
Yeah, you can know what it's reading.
I'll have to absorb the poetry before I can know what it means.
Just read the report twice and don't say anything.
Okay, he says about the blossoms, I thought I was free of passions. So this melancholy comes as a surprise. A woodcock shoots up in marsh when autumn twilight falls. I thought I was free of passions. So this melancholy comes as a surprise. A woodcock shoots up in marsh where autumn twilight falls. Here's a more poem. A world without the scattering of blossoms, without the clouding over of the moon, would deprive me of my melancholy. Now he's doesn't want to be deprived. A world without the scattering of blossoms, without the clouding over of the moon, would deprive me of my melancholy. It's without impermanence you would feel no passion and see no beauty. They become beautiful instantiations of truth. Poem. My cold corpse covered forever with moss for bedding will recollect what I learned here from dew on a rock's cold dark side. My body will somewhere fall by the wayside into a state of sleep and still more sleep, like the dew that each night appears, then falls from roadside grasses. My cold corpse covered forever with moss for bedding will recollect what it learned here from dew on a rock's cold dark side. My body will somewhere fall by the wayside into a state of sleep, and still more sleep, like the dew that each night appears, then falls from roadside grasses. We'll subject it to analysis another time. His favorite phenomena, full moon and cherry blossoms. Let it be in spring and under cherry blossoms that I die, while the moon is perfect at mid-month, like it was for his peaceful passing. as it was, he says, for Buddhas under the full moon. It says, poem again, let it be spring under cherry blossoms that die while the moon is perfect at mid-month, like it was for his peaceful passing. He's hoping for one like Buddha. Oh my goodness. We came to the end of this document. It's Andrew Mayer's, his thesis, not a thesis, travel blog. We came to the journey itself is home. Saigyo'way of impermanence. Andrew Meyer, University of Pennsylvania. That's over with, dear. Do you have a comment?
Very beautiful. You can read them again.
Read them again. I guess I could read. I could read again. In the time being. We have to be very slow listener. This is slowness training. Well, we could read it again and do some further analysis. Well, we know that Saigyo wrote what they called waka verses, W-A-K-I, also known as tanka, traditional Japanese form 5-7-5-7-7 syllables, which in later times would evolve to even more simple haiku. So this is pre-haiku. He's renowned, and his poetry is in the Shinko Kinsu. Apparently 1,500 poems remain from his collection in the Sankashu, or Mountain Home Collection. Dear, he's got 1,500 poems, so we may be able to find more poems. He's sort of...
I like to read those again, though.
All right, but I'm saying we get a feeling for...
We can find more.
Because here we have a few scattered ones and a few books, and like Emily, we're going to get all 1,500 poems. He could be next to Emily's 1,775 poems.
No one is contesting.
No one says good. Goodness, dear.
Very few then.
Basha would agree, probably. I'm going to read some poetry from Saigyo. Delicate dewdrops on a spider's web are the pearls strung on necklaces, worn in the world man spins, the world quickly vanishing. It's very current. Isn't that very current with our
It is always.
bad conditions in the environment?
It was written back then, though.
Here he's talking about the hermit life as peaceful. It says, to think you've thrown the world away and then still live unhidden is to be like any other worldling, still dwelling in the world of men. He's saying he's too close to town. There was some other beautiful poems. Let's see what they were. once we dig up all 1,500 poems. How are we going to dig them? Are we going to Kyoto? Oh, here he says, the guardhouse at famed Shirakawa Gate, now ruined, lets the moon filter in. Its shaft is like having another staying here. Somehow the gate ruin lets the moon in. This the location is famous in traditional poetry as traditional symbol of the barrier separating the civilized culture centers of the South from the agrarian backwards cultures of the North. Well, wait, I'll read it again. The guardhouse at famed Shirakawa Gate, now ruined, lets the moon filter in. Its shaft is like having another staying here. Saigyo has recently divorced himself from these structures, but is now finding himself in a guardhouse symbolizing the secular life he has given up. He experienced a moment of deep loneliness. Such the moon is a welcome companion. He says in a poem, this leaky, tumble-down grass hut left an opening for the moon, and I gazed at it. All the while it was mirrored in the dewdrop falling on my sleeve. Another poem. Nowhere in this place to stop and live, so only everywhere will do. Each and every grass-made hut soon leaves its place within this withering world. So the theme was he's made everywhere his home because he doesn't consider one place his home, or the grass is sort of withering anyways. The Wandering Way. Here we have his travel blogging. His home is therefore nowhere. A perpetual traveler. Now he's journeying through nature. He says, snow has fallen on field paths and mountain paths, burying them all. I can't tell here from there. My journey is in the mist of sky. So, nevertheless, the path is sort of covered. Japanese word sora, signifying sky, also denotes Buddhist idea of emptiness. We've come to the end of the second reading of The Journey Home itself. Andrew Meyer, University of Pennsylvania, and we find there's 1,500 poems of Saigyo out there somewhere. So we have to go on a journey to find them.